Before we get into the next video, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of the patrons who've been supporting me for months and years, as well as all of these new people who have given their support. We have Leon, Basic Days, Ali Pasha Sadri, Blake Stoffel, Martin, O'Neill and Z, Leah Wayland, Espen, Christian Boris Iverson, Mortran, David Reichel, Steve Harose, Swiss Cheeses, Viking Brit, Leon, David Verkrusen, Blake Scott, Andreas Yellinghouse, Johnny Wanamaker, and Constantine Herbold, who became new patrons. There were 2 people who increased their patronage. Thank you so much for that. We have Garrett Blue and Cryanster. And then through PayPal, I got gifts from Paul's Simons, who said, "It's not much, I know, but if it helps, it's all that matters." You know, I'm so grateful for any support that anyone gives. I'm just really, really, really grateful. Also, Stefan Schatz, Peter Kellogg, and I'm going to say also hi to Angela. There are 2 Maine Coons who are Edward and Elizabeth. Peter sent me that message. And then we'll have Martinez Zlinskas, Gavin Lewis, Ryan Jackal, and a huge thank you to Artem Litvinovich. I am speechless, absolutely speechless. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so, so much. And then there were also people who did a YouTube super thanks, David Herrock, Dando Gaming, and Pekapa. I don't have my file to change my end screen with me, but people who are a certain level of patronage will have their name on the end screen. So heart to you all. Thank you so very much. Greetings, I'm Catherine of Skye, and I hope to make your day refreshingly Swedish. So I'm still in the hospital, as you see, but I really wanted to make this video because I think it's important. Now, this is a very difficult video to make because of, I don't know, there's a stigma against mental things, and it's also about mental topics, which I'll talk about in a bit. But also, if you have a huge sensitivity to subjects like depression or hopelessness, just be warned. This video contains those mentions. So I'll warn you now. But this topic is about feeling like, well, knowing that you've nearly died and you're given these diagnoses that are like unimaginably bad. Like in your worst nightmare, you wouldn't imagine you got all these things and that you're like, could die any second, literally any second. And it feels like you're just getting buried even by the people who are supposed to be helping you. So I want to talk about that. And I think it's important to start from the mindset that I had as a former American. I did actually give up my citizenship. I have a video on that, which is waiting in the wing. Growing up in America, and you can confirm this with pretty much everybody in the comments section, Americans are taught that everything is your fault. And if you have, if you get, I don't know, a stroke, it's your fault. If you get this, it's your fault. Even if you get cancer, which we know has no fault. No, that's your fault because you didn't eat right, or you didn't exercise enough, or you were smoking or drinking. I mean, there are cancers caused by smoking, but like most of them aren't, So, appendicitis is definitely nobody's fault. But no, you didn't eat right. You didn't have a healthy lifestyle. You didn't whatever. So Americans are very much taught that it's their fault. And there's a huge culture of shame around any kind of disease. And we were talking earlier in Discord about why is there this culture of shame? And it has to do with religion, actually. And when the religious people were escaping persecution in Europe, like the founding of America, like way back when we're talking about, there's this idea of, if you live clean, God will take care of you. And so I guess there's this kind of assumption in America. And when I lived there, it was not about religion. It's just the whole, everybody's, just kind of, oh, no, that's your fault. That's your fault. So But it's this idea of like, oh yeah, yeah, if you do bad stuff, if you lie or steal, God will send a plague upon you. You know, that's that. I think it comes from that mentality, and that's just carried on and forward. And that's actually how Americans think about healthcare. That's one of the reasons they don't want universal healthcare, is because they are like, well, you know, why should I pay for your healthcare? It's your fault if you get ill. And no, it's not. And two, there was one comment today on my other video. Someone very ignorant was talking about, well, you know, if you drink yourself into cirrhosis, then it's your fault. No, nobody wants to be sick. And that person, yes, they were drinking, but they're probably an alcoholic, which means they're mentally ill, which is also not their fault. So you have to think about the meta picture, the bigger picture in these things. And I think the reason that a lot of Americans, you know, that's how they feel about universal healthcare. Why should they pay for somebody else when it's their fault if they get a disease? It's their fault if they break their leg on the ski slope. It's their fault if they, you know, get into a car accident. Yeah, because accidents are so totally like intended, right? That's why they're called accidents. And it's a great selfishness, because to the Americans who are watching, Swedes and many other people in Europe feel that there are people who make more money and there are people who make less money. But people, we're like, well, you know, if I make more money, I'm happy to help somebody who can't afford it. You know, that's how we feel. We are happy to contribute money so other people can live. It was heartbreaking for me today because I heard from another person who commented, who is an American living in America and who has had some very serious illnesses for many years. And they said, you know, there are several surgeries I haven't been able to get because I can't afford them. Just think about that. Living with some horrible stuff and you can't afford to fix it. That's worth thinking about. It's worth crying about, to be honest. And I'm going to put out another video where I'm going to talk about the cost of healthcare. Not just the monetary cost, but also the manpower cost and how that affects things. And I'm hoping Americans will see why this is a better way that we have here. It actually costs me much less in taxes and all of that stuff. When you take everything together, I am paying so much less for healthcare than it costs me in taxes. Even though the tax rate is a little bit higher, but once you take into account all the insurance premiums and specialist fees and different stuff I was paying in America, it's way less here, you know? And so that's really important to look at. Anyway, I've gone off topic a little bit, but that's kind of like, you see where the mindset is coming from. And unfortunately, I've had to live in that mindset for a few decades. So anyway, when I got my diagnosis, I felt very, very bad. Because also, there's a thing in America too, where doctors are very much in control of you. If they don't see you following their recommendations, they fire you. They actually called out, fired this patient. You kind of have to do what they want. It's not a choice. Sometimes your doctor, maybe your GP, will let you slide. Oh, I don't want blood pressure medication this time. Okay, well, okay, next time then, you know, or whatever. And if you don't do it, they will fire you. They'll get rid of you. And there's this, it's absolutely crazy. You don't really have a choice in America. And I know that Europeans are going to be like tearing their hair out at this point. Like, what the hell is going on with those Americans? I agree. Americans are crazy. But anyway, so there's a lot of stuff there. And when I went to doctors in the US, it always felt like they're attacking you. It always feels like they are attacking you, literally. They bombast you. They use a lot of scare tactics, and it's quite unpleasant, very not great. So anyway, when these two doctors came in here and gave me these diagnoses. There were two of them, and one of them was a specialist in certain kind of medicine, the other one. And it felt so bad. I was like, they just kept piling on and on and on. Oh, and do you know this causes this? And do you know this and this and that? And I'm thinking, I already know all that stuff. You don't have to repeat it. And I felt assaulted, like mentally assaulted. Nobody laid a hand on me. I just want to be clear about that. But mentally, it just feels so bad. And my mind just went to really dark places, to be honest. I felt like, well, holy hell, my body is so broken. Just shovel more dirt on top of me. Shove me in a coffin and put me in the ground, Just shovel the dirt on top of me. With every word, it felt like they were throwing earth on top of me. And it's scary to feel like, what's the point? If your body is so damn broken, who cares? And also the whole other, well, you need to take these medications forever. And that is a big problem for me. I hate that idea of depending on big pharma to keep me alive. What if we have the zombie apocalypse? Obviously that's silly, but like desert island, I couldn't survive without medications according to them, So that's also frustrating. And you just really want it to not be true, but also they're telling you it is true. And so, I was really sad about this, and just like my brain just went into total shock. I was in complete shock when they were saying all these things, because like I thought I maybe pinched a nerve in my neck, not had a billion strokes. Like, what the hell? So, and another problem I think with my universe was that I see a doctor here regularly in Sweden. I have a regular doctor. I also see a neurologist. I also go to the hospital twice a week, every week, like for a whole year. So it's not like I've been out of touch with the medical community. Like I take the pills they were suggesting, and so, or most of them anyway. So, and it wasn't presented to me by my doctor as, oh yeah, this is an emergency, you have to take this. Like, my blood pressure was slightly elevated. They said my cholesterol was slightly elevated. They didn't say it was like, this is a genetic problem with the cholesterol. They didn't catch that. They said, yeah, if you eat healthier, like less meat, which was a bit of a problem, because I'm trying to eat meat for my wound healing. You need a lot of protein, but so I was eating leaner meat. So I thought, if I eat leaner meat, then I can fix this. And that was the impression that I got, that I could easily fix it with diet. And that isn't the case. I mean, it's literally a genetic problem where the body produces the bad cholesterol. I forget which one is the bad one, but people out there can Google it. So yeah, I've also had comments like, hey, go vegan. I'm like, really? Are you like, do you not understand genetic? Is that what that means? So anyway, I thought that these problems, and that was what was presented. It's like, these problems can be solved by, eating leaner meats for your diet. I also had more salads, clear out things, pretty good. Those are good for that. Fiber is good. And also, the high blood pressure thing, I felt like, I was making progress with my neurologist, because I felt like my migraines have been causing pain. Pain raises your blood pressure. It's just very simple. And I thought, well, if we get rid of the migraines, and we were trying some promising things, then the high blood pressure is going to go. So it was not presented to me as an emergency to take those things. And I was already taking pills for a different illness that I have. So I thought, I was doing everything right. And that's why it was so shocking, because I was eating healthy. I was exercising as much as I was allowed to. I'm not allowed much because the wounds on my feet are still healing. I know I keep going back to the feet, but they are a big problem. And I wasn't allowed to walk very far because, when you walk on your wounds, you make them worse. So I was exercising as much as I could. I was eating right. I was taking my pills that I was prescribed. And all of a sudden it's like, bam. Like, it doesn't matter what the hell you do. It doesn't matter if you're doing everything right. You still get hit by lightning. So, and then there's the other problem too with stuff where every doctor thinks they know everything, 100%. Oh yeah, if you do this, then you'll be fine. Well, I wasn't fine. And I look at, doctors here kind of the same way. They again think they know everything, and I'm trying what they're saying. I'm not ignoring it, but it also feels like, well, is this a futile effort as well? So I don't know, to be honest. I guess, if we look at results, like the nurses have been taking my blood pressure and all the different like things, blood pressure and pulse and all kinds of tests. Like they do blood tests every single day. Oh my God, I swear I don't have enough veins. But like the values are getting better. So I don't know if they're doing cholesterol tests every day. They don't give me those results of the cholesterol. So, and maybe it doesn't change very quickly. I don't know. That's another idea that I don't know about. But I'll ask about it tomorrow if I can remember. But you feel like you're doing everything right, and then it's like, apparently not. So that was one of the big shockers for me in this whole thing. And like I said, for a few days I felt quite hopeless. Like, what's the point? Apparently I'm so broken I can't even live. It's just, what the hell? But this is not who we are. Jag är Viking. Sorry about that. Yeah, I probably hit the microphone there. Which means I'm Viking. And I don't take excuses and I don't make excuses. I live hardcore life as an adult in the universe. And I'm responsible and I do what I need to. So I thought, you know what? To hell with this idea. I'm going to live as long as I live. If I die, I die. But I'm not going to start digging my own grave, And recovering a sense of humor is also a good thing to go along with that. And connecting with people and talking to people. A lot of people were reaching out to me. And it does help just sort of just saying, hey, I have this horrible thing. Can you commiserate with me a little bit? Because it's scary. So anyway, I'm good now. I'm doing well. The tests have been going well. My leg is doing really well. My arm, I think, is about 95%. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the shoulder. But the dexterity in my hand, my gaming hand, is right there. But the shoulder, sometimes when I move my hand over the keyboard to find a key, it's like, okay, it's a little bit unsteady. But I can walk without a limp for short distances. Then my leg gets really tired. But yeah, I'm doing really well. So you don't need to worry about me. My mood is quite happy, as you have seen. But I did want to present to you how I felt and sort of the stages of like what I was thinking, because I want people to know that if you feel that way, you're not alone. And it may take you more time or less time to recover your sense of humor and your joie de vivre, your joy of living. But it is possible. And regardless, you should live as long as you can live. Don't give up on yourself. That's really important, that you don't give up on yourself, even if it feels like you're being attacked. And I need to clarify that, because the doctors weren't attacking me. They were informing me, but because of my upbringing, it felt like an attack. I just want to be clear about that. The doctors here, they even said, you can refuse any treatment you want. You don't have to take the advice. They're just here to inform and tell you what's up and what choices you have on treatment. So, but I just wanted you to understand from my perspective how it feels and how I think every American feels in the American medical system, and how an American might perceive what's happening, in other countries, in places with better healthcare. So, anyway, but yeah, you're not alone if you feel this way. And yeah, I invite you to my Discord if you ever want to talk about stuff and things. And because, you know, with other people, sometimes it's good to just, you know, be heard, hear and be heard, right? So huge thank you to everyone who has been heard. I have read every single comment that has been on the diagnosis video. I haven't responded in text to all of them, but I've hearted almost all of them, except for some people who were like, cure this with salad. I'm like, yo, please don't be ignorant. Stop doing that. Jesus. But yeah, thank you all for your support. You guys are great. And someone made a really powerful comment. It was Sweet X. They said, remember that you're not a dumb American anymore. You're a Swede, so you have value. And that really, like, drove it home to me that Americans don't value themselves. The government doesn't value its citizens. Healthcare doesn't value people either. But Europeans do, especially the Nordic people. We care about each other and we value each other. More on that in another video, but I want to tell you that you have value. You matter. Despite what your society might tell you, you matter, because there's only one of you, and every person has different strengths and weaknesses and talents and hopes and fears and joys and love. And you do matter. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Thank you so very much for joining me. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you next time.